Good day, everyone. My name is Cam Steele. We're here today with Craig Russel of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Craig has been a channel, messenger teacher for almost 10 years, and in Vancouver has developed a vehicle called Soul Journey. Welcome to the program, Craig.
Thank you, Cam.
So tell us a little bit about, you grew up on a farm, from what I understand.
That's right,
And
my early years.
And how have you developed yourself? How did you develop Soul Journey? How did this all come about for you in your life?
Well, I would suggest that it all started with certain events as a child that triggered me into a path of what I would call self-empowerment.
Okay.
And I don't want to make it sound like it's a special path, because I believe we are all on paths, whether it's identified as a spiritual path or a metaphysical, or whether we're on a path of science. I believe we are all on paths. My particular one was very focused as a child, and then it was triggered by a set of dreams that I started having at the age of 8 to 9 years old. And these dreams that I experienced, I realized later, were past lives. And I would have these dreams 5 to 6, almost every night a week. And in the mornings, I would share this experience with my mother. And at first, she was quite concerned.
I can imagine.
Some of those dreams, I would be a pilot flying in World War II, and other times I would be a native child with the Navajo people 2 centuries back. And they were very real. I can remember those dreams when I was a pilot in World War II, and very real, very actual. And so this continued to about the age of 8, 9, 10. And so when those things happen to you, and they're not happening to everyone else, you start to ask questions.
Of course.
And so I think at the age of 13, I picked up a pocket novel of past life regression, and one thing leads to the next, and all of a sudden you have an interest that's developing. And along with that, what I would call an inner prompting, an inner prompting of a feeling that I was to continue this searching, which finally led me to a path called the Infinite Way.
That's Joel Goldsmith?
That's Joel Goldsmith's work. That's correct. And I would say that with gratitude to my parents, who didn't force me to evolve in religion, even though I attended some of the Christian faiths, this was not forced upon me, and I was allowed to evolve in other ways. And after Edgar Cayce, Joel Goldsmith was perhaps America's foremost healer.
Oh, okay. Now, Joel Goldsmith, how long did you study with him?
My path with the Infinite Way lasted for 16 years. Yes, 16 years.
And Joel Goldsmith, from what I understand from background information that we've talked, he's healed up to 700 people a day through
That's right.
Some of his work.
In the last 5 years of his life on Earth, it was recorded that he was healing up to anywhere between 500 to 700 people a day. Amazing. Would come through the offices. And his work that was known as the Infinite Way, through a series of letters to the students, a number of books that he had wrote, he taught his students how to perform this healing, and he taught us what he felt was the true nature of self, source, reality. He used much of the Christian faith. He used the Tao, and he used Buddhism as well as platforms that he taught from. And so as ourselves as students, what Joel Goldsmith did teach us, very importantly, was that there truly is an inner presence, an inner power within each human being, and many ways of how that can be developed.
Okay. Now, you had some physical ailments when you were younger, and if I remember correctly, you actually used the Infinite Way what do you call them, healing ways?
The treatments.
Treatments to heal it?
That's correct. I was born with pleurisy and pneumonia in the lung.
Wow.
And with a damaged pancreas. This developed as a teenager. This developed into diabetes in the pancreas and left 4 scars on my lung tissue. And one thing that Dr. Goldsmith taught us was how to give ourselves and our world treatments that we would internalize, statements of truth. He taught us that as we internalize a thing, that if we stay with that thing and understand the nature of illusion, the nature of realities, understand the nature of this world, as he taught us this foundation which we healed from, we realized that there was not any appearance in this world that was fixed, that we could change everything. And through the course of 3 years and giving myself those treatments, which is simply an internal dialogue,
right,
and what I was coming in to align with my truth,
okay,
that I was able to completely restore the lung and the pancreas, both of which are a medical impossibility,
right,
according to modern science.
Of course. Now, without getting into detail too much, would that include curing cancer, for instance? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have cancer. Now, can cancer be something that can actually be cured through using those treatments? Is it?
It is possible.
Is it possible?
It is possible. The treatment always works when one does not experience the miracle behind the treatment, behind the healing. It's usually due to deep-rooted belief systems that for one reason or another the individual cannot overcome. And so depending on what's in an individual's consciousness, the history of the place that they believe from, if some of those beliefs are so deeply rooted, beliefs in death through disease and beliefs that these things cannot be overcome, if those beliefs are so deeply rooted, then until those beliefs are dealt with and changed, sometimes miracles of healing can be set aside and not experienced.
How does Craig Russell see society, the way it is with the disease, with the violence? You being a teacher of teaching people to live in love and choose peace, how does Craig Russell see the rest of the world and cope with the violence and all the things that are happening out there? How do you cope with it in your life? How do you teach it to other people how to cope with it?
Well, to begin, I see that the world is a changing place. In the years that I've been here in this life, I've seen the world transform. We all have. And we have seen that the world is moving towards a more peaceful place. Never in our history have we had so many countries at peace. We've seen the fall of communism. We've seen the fall of dictatorships. And we see political leaders working in harmony. We see the life that individuals live, longevity of life. We've seen this evolve. We've seen evolution in technologies in all fields. So I see there's a tremendous advancement in every field,
Right.
And I believe the world is a more peaceful place. And from what I have been taught, I've also become aware that all of us, to one degree or another, are sleeping. And that we are birthing, we are going through a process that I would call the awakening process. And it seems that each of us are asleep to a different degree. Now, what does that mean by sleeping?
Yeah, I was going to say
It's because it is a general word that has quite an implication behind it. If we are human beings who experience limitations in our lives, and if it was possible that there were beings someplace in the universe who became unlimited in every way,
right,
incredible beings of life, then, and if that was our destiny, to become unlimited, then there is something in us that has not been awakened to that. I see mass consciousness as having been hypnotized through belief systems. And I believe that we're going through this process of unhypnotizing ourselves. And there are tools, there are applications, and teachings in which we can do this. But I see humanity awakening, and it seems to be hundreds of millions of people who are doing this. But it's not only just the spiritual movement, the religious movement. There are people awakening in the sciences, in mystical arts, people awakening in all fields of life. So I'd just like to make it clear that this is not reserved for the New Age.
Right.
I would like to classify that what is going on in society today is a human potential movement. And within that movement, we have an opportunity to aspire to greatness. And what we have to realize is that not only are there parts of our consciousness or our mind that is temporarily asleep, but we have, even in our physical bodies, we have a genius that has not yet been awakened.
Speaking of sleeping and not being awakened, lately on the news, I don't know if everybody's been seeing it or not, but it seems that people are getting less and less sleep, 5-6 hours of sleep. Would this account for part of the awakening process, that they're in some sort of a trance, needing to stay up longer, there's a desire to stay up longer? Would you classify that as part of the awakening process? People not getting enough sleep, you know? It's an interesting concept, yeah. It's just an interesting concept, the way I was seeing it.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of transformation going on in the physical body. But there is no broad generalization that can be applied here. There are people that are losing sleep due to the incredible anxiety and stress from living the way society does today. And then there are those individuals who, through some desire to evolve and grow, actually have experiences that mass consciousness, the most of the human race, have no knowledge of. For example, there are people who consciously leave their bodies once the body has been put to sleep in the evening. And they consciously leave the bodies and travel in what is often referred to as an etheric light body. And in their travels may enter into greater planes and gain knowledge while the physical body sleeps. And all of these things are contributing to a transformation that the physical body is undergoing, which then can contribute to lesser hours that the physical body is asleep.
Okay. Now, being a channel, we're going a little bit, we're going to step up a bit here.
All right.
When did these guides come to you, and how?
Well, 12 years ago, through two different ways, two beings, two guides made contact with me. And one's, the name is Akasha, and she is in a female embodiment, and the other is Asun, who carries the male energy. And Akasha came to me first while I was in the sleep state, and woke me up from sleep. And I didn't see anyone, but I heard an audible voice asking me to go to my desk and to take some notes. I resisted that, and I thought I was having a waking dream. I thought I was half asleep and half awake.
Interesting.
And dreaming this experience. This occurred 2 more times, and then finally I did get up and go to my desk and start taking notes, and began writing pages and pages of a message that was being channeled through me. I felt like I was a vessel for this message. I felt that there was an adjustment in my mind, and my mind was receiving a downloading of information. Many years later, we've come to realize who Akasha and who Asun are. And we realize that they are angels. Their homes are in the greater dimensions. They identify that place as the 11th dimension of planet Earth. And they tell us that they are part of a whole team of beings from not only planet Earth's greater realms, but beings who have come out of the cosmos to participate in the great changes coming to our Earth planet. Now, we have people in the scientific community, such as Dr. Stephen Hawking, who has stepped out of the realms of pure science and have spoken of the many realms and dimensions that our Earth planet has, besides this Earth third dimension.
Of course.
And so we're gaining a larger picture here that we're not alone.
Yeah.
And these two beings, Akasha and Asun, explained that as guides, that we all have guides, and that due to the journey I'd taken as a student of the Infinite Way, the opening of my heart, the healing of my mind, that they were able to assist me in doing some clearing in the brain to fire the brain to a higher frequency where an actual communication can take place.
Okay.
And our own science tells us we only use a portion of our brain.
Of course. I think it's 1/3 or something like that, I believe. There was something that I wanted to go back to, and that was you woke up to go to the table and start doing some writing. Now, is this something normal for people that are going to channel, or is that the opportunity they use is to tell somebody who's living on the third dimension, like their guides, like say somebody wakes up in the morning and wants to get in touch with their guide, are they going to get to the table and start writing? Is that the normal way? It seems to me that there was a book, Conversations with God. The same thing happened to him. He woke up in the middle of the night and started writing a letter to God. And so I'm just wondering if that's a normal procedure that it would take, because we're sleeping and we're in that very relaxed state where we can actually...
Yes. I would suggest it's one way.
Yeah.
I would suggest that automatic handwriting is a process in which oftentimes when we are fully relaxed, all of us become vessels for communication. Whether a musician sits down and allows a piece of music to be written through them, or whether an artist sits at a canvas and allows something to unfold from them. We are all are forms of channeling in which, as we evolve, there is that thing when it wants to express through us, will express. And automatic handwriting is one of those ways. One of those ways that can happen.
So channeling is anything that you're doing that you're very good at, that just seems to come naturally for you.
I would suggest that it's allowing what wants to come through you.
Right. Okay.
And whether it comes through you as whether you're a scientist and you're working with atomic structure, whether you're working with electrons, when information is coming through you, whether you're the artist, whether you're a messenger, delivering messages from a hierarchy of a greater communication platform, I suggest it's important that we take the woo-woo idea out of this and make it more real by suggesting that we are all greater than we are appearing to be, and that as we heal our minds, as we heal ourselves, our bodies, as we heal our emotions, in this healing and purifying process, we do raise ourselves. And when we do raise our energies, our body's energies, when we heal the mind, then we come into communication with other beings who have healed their minds.
Similar to Akasha and Asun.
Exactly.
Now, before we bring in Akasha and Asun, we're going to do this very shortly. When you're channeling the energy, what happens to you? What's your experience? Do they actually help you heal your body, or do they do the healing for you?
12 years ago, and began working with them, making contact with Akasha and Asun, I realized I was not to be just a channel for the intelligence, for the messages they wanted to relay. I realized also that they wanted people to have a tangible experience of their presence. Knowing the doubting mind, knowing monkey mind,
of course,
and healthy skepticism, which an individual should have. Myself, I needed to have something more tangible than just an expression of words.
That was my
and
next.
So they have allowed me to be a channel for their energy. And all of us are sensitive to energy, and all of us can feel that energy change. We can feel as the energy change. We can feel the energy that's being transmitted. And so I'm fortunate to have that as my experience.
They are tangible beings, and if we could actually see them, we would see them as if you were
Absolutely.
You're sitting here now.
Absolutely.
So why is it that, can you see them when you're in channel?
At times when my human embodiment is being so raised with energy, there are times that the optic nerve of my sight is raised vibrationally. And when that happens, then there have been times when I have seen them with the higher sight, the greater sight. But with my regular sight, no. But with my greater sight, when my energies are charged, and my energies are charged when I am channeling their presence, I can see them.
Is it safe? I mean, if their vibration is so high, would it not do something to your heart? Would it not
Very good
speed
question.
up things?
It's a very good question. What has been very important for me was the development of my own heart, the development of the knowledge that we each have a higher self that is as real and tangible as ourselves. Akasha and Asun speak through my higher self, speak through my life stream. Therefore, anything that they do in terms of communicating or expressing through me must come through the life stream of my higher self. Your higher self will always protect you. And when we do things through the heart, you will never damage yourself or hurt yourself. Now, there are a lot of channels out there who become tired after channeling, and in some cases whose bodies do fall ill. And the only thing I have to say about that is I suggest that those individuals look into exactly what are they tapping into, what kind of energy are they tapping into that they are running through their bodies. And I don't think the energies of angels could bring any harm to a human body.
No, if they're angels, I suppose not. No, so you're suggesting that, I'll make that clear, that there are channels out there that if they are experiencing feeling tired afterwards, feeling drained, and all they want to do is go to sleep, that they're not channeling something that's absolute purity?
That's quite possible.
Okay.
It's quite possible.
So
in our own world here, we have degrees of energy, and we have fields of energy that are qualified negatively and qualified positively.
I myself have had the experience of late of channeling just to do readings with perceptions and insights, and I found myself actually feeling energized afterwards. Is this similar to what your experience is after a channeling?
I'm very charged after a channeling. I have to make sure that I take some time to take a nice walk, get out into the fresh air, really physical exercise my body, because during that time you are coming into contact with frequencies and energies that are of a greater world, a higher world. And I'm not saying better, I'm saying more evolved. And as you make contact with these more evolved worlds, they literally fire the atomics of your body and causing the cells of your body to spin much greater. And so your own body is undergoing transformation while this is taking place.
Vibrating the whole time.
Absolutely. It's all light.
Interesting. Okay, well, you know what? I think it's time. I'm feeling that it's time to bring Akasha and Asun in, or Asun. How do you put?
Either or. When Asun first came to me, we called him Asun, and many people know him is that way.
So do we have to change the cameras around?
A day came that he said that we had evolved, and that it would be more appropriate to call him Asun.
Asun.
And I see that because the sun carries the father energy. And with the teachings, we are learning that the sun is the father energy, is the male energy, and that the mother energy is the feeling, is the heart, is Akasha. If you looked up that word Akasha in the ancient Sanskrit, you would find that it means mother.
I was going to ask you, what does Akasha and what does Asun mean?
So it seems to be that the names that these two angels have taken on for communicating with us at this time do reflect the qualities that want to come into balance within each of us.
Interesting.
Sadly, most human beings believe that the energy, God, life force is all male, and maybe that belief is what has thrown everything out of balance here.
Right, so it's feminine and masculine energy that's happening.
Sacred alchemy.
So I've also read that Akasha and Asun, in your write-up, twin flames, I think that's something I can ask them about, I think.
They would probably be able to, in their wonderful poetry,
yes,
they would probably be able to speak more clearly than the information I have on that.
All right. So I think we can bring Akasha and Asun in. Well, you can, and I'll sit here and watch. Do we need to move anything around, make room?
No, all you need to do is relax.
All right, we'll relax.
And I'll just move into that expanded space and just allow this to take place. No, I'd just like to, I am half there in that extended state, and one of the things that happens to me often is that the sinus begins to run, and I'm just moving into that shift. The energy is shifting now, and my sinus is running, so I'll ask you to excuse this for a moment. Indeed. Nice to see you.
Well, hello there.
Indeed. It is Cameron.
It is?
Yes, it is Asun.
It is.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
We are not alone.
No, we're not. We have some cameramen here,
Day.
floor directors.
Indeed. Namaste to you. Namaste.
Interesting. So,
nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Indeed. Akasha and I understand why we are here.
Oh, good, good.
Understand.
Good.
So, therefore, you may proceed.
All right. My first question, and we just finished talking about this with Craig, about the physical body, and something actually happened while he was, I guess, bringing you in, is the term that they would
Cheers.
use? Cheers.
Indeed.
Cheers. And the sinus started running. Now, what is that about when you come in?
What this is about, the first thing that we are able to do and understand and bring forth the presentation of our words and the presentation of our energies. All of this that we do it through Clark's beloved higher self.
Clark.
This is Clark, this is what we call him, understand?
Okay.
All that we do it through his heart and through his life stream.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing we must do is bring forth the true breath of life. The breath of life from the life stream, and we integrate the breath through the body to bring the body into the alignment with the energy that we wish to express.
Okay.
So this is the adjustment of the energy in the physical body. This is the reason for the long breath.
Okay.
That which is termed the temporary running of the sinus, this has more to do with the drainage that is going on in the neural net of his brain,
Okay.
that is allowing a further healing of the left and right hemispheres of the brain that respond to the feminine and the male expression. There is a further healing in the female aspect, the creative aspect of the brain, that is causing this runoff, so to speak.
Well, it was just interesting because we were talking about physical changes. So I'd first of all like to ask you about where you're from.
We are from heaven.
Okay.
Indeed.
Can you define what heaven would be? We know it as heaven is a place where heaven and hell.
Oh, that is a bunch of trash.
Okay. So.
Heaven is a love star, beloved one.
Okay.
It is where the Mother Father are.
And this is.
And it is, there's all sorts of terms, but we like to call it the love star.
The love star.
Understand?
I understand.
That is cosmic terms. It is known by many as the great central sun.
The great central
The
sun.
very core of the cosmoverse. And it is a place where the seamless, formless being of Mother Father, continuously marrying, continuously coming together, and then their seamless presence are creating individualizations of themselves. You are one of those individualizations.
Are you saying that?
And so are we.
Okay. So on that note, are you saying, how did we come about here? There's talk that we choose our life. We choose the life we want. Now, how does that happen? We're little souls sitting in a theater, and we come down and say, "I want this life here," or how does that happen?
You got a couple days?
Can you make it can you make a short form of it?
All right. In shorthand, the journey of the soul. The soul of each of us, whether you are a human being, whether you are a being that belongs in other systems of worlds, whether you are those beings that created as servants, all come forth from the heart of Mother, Father, God. Understand?
I understand so far.
It is the Mother, Father, God that decide the nature of the beings that they will create. You are that which is termed Holy Son, Holy Daughter of God. And the flame of you, the soul of you, when it is first created, is given all the assets and all the attributes of Mother, Father, God. And that flame, as it is created, is birthed out of the great central sun, and it is birthed as a spiritual being in a light form that is a perfect individuation. It is not a physical form. It is a spiritual form. It has a body, a light body, and in that form it is absolute perfect expression. It is the Mother Father individualized. The first thing that happens as you move out of the great central sun as an individualized being is that you are split in two. The flame that is within you splits in two. And now there is a counterpart. One is male and one is female. Now you have that which is termed your twin flame.
Is that the same as a soulmate?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Those are fun to speak of, generic, fancy, new age machinations of the human mind.
Okay.
Understand?
I understand.
The chances of meeting your twin flame down here and all this limitation are remote. In fact, yours is not even here. Yours lives in the fifth dimension. Your twin flame is already ascended. Indeed. Anyway, once the twin flames have individualized, then they take the great journey. The journey is the journey into the systems of worlds, physical worlds. For as that great flame that you are I am. You are the expression of all that I is. And in that expression, having come forth from the great central sun and having been individualized, you are perfect being.
Okay.
You are full knowingness. But now, the journey of knowingness must include the experience of that which you know. The system of physical worlds was created by Mother, Father, God in harmony with great cosmic beings of light, to be those systems of worlds where you and that perfect being could physicalize yourself, and with a physical embodiment you could take the great journey of knowing and experiencing who you are. Understand?
I understand. When does the light being, as you put it, soul, enter the physical body in the womb, or when the baby comes out?
Very good question. No one answer. To each and every person, it is unique, and it depends on the individual. All right, so we need some clarification here. First of all, the I of you. You are not soul. Soul is the collection of all your experiences and all your journeys and all the lives on earth and other systems of worlds. So your soul is the collection of all your experiences, yes? Now, the I, the sovereign I that is within you is consciousness, it is awareness, it is being, it is that spiritual being from out of the great central sun. Now, when the being, the I of you, living on this earth plane, for this is where we are right now, as it takes on a physical embodiment and lives life here, and then as it passes through that embodiment, through the change called death, the I of you will take the collection of your experiences, that is your soul. This moves up your life stream to a place that we simply refer to as the planes of bliss.
Okay.
All right. It is in this place that you come in contact with angelic beings. It is in this place that you are in a higher state of consciousness, awareness, and vision. It is in this place that you view all that you have gained, all that you've created, and it is in this place that you plan your next life. As to when you come in, when you enter into the womb, some enter at the time of conception. Others enter moments before birth, depending on what you want to experience.
So the physical body and the heartbeat that the doctors feel is not necessarily the being. It is just the physical body coming alive.
That is right. That is the biological embodiment that has been created through the atomics of humans.
Okay.
That will not come to life on its own. That is why the child within lives by the life of the Holy Mother, the Mother.
Okay.
Understand?
Understand.
The tube. Understand?
Yes, of course.
Indeed. And it is when the soul, the I of the soul enters in, that I in the first breath becomes conscious as a baby child that is newborn.
Interesting.
Understand?
Okay. I understand. Next question I have is how do you come into Craig?
You must not limit yourself in any way, but rather go after all your dreams, beloved one. Understand? Do not be concerned with anything. Know exactly what you want. Understand, and go after it. Become like the Olympians. Go for the gold. Go for what you want. It is only your beliefs that stop you. Believe nothing will stop you. We will give you assistance. All right? No negative thinking, no doubts. Know exactly what it is that you're going for and go for the gold. You do this, and I shall see to it that you are given assistance. Namaste.
Well, that was interesting.
Always must be in service.
Of course.
Indeed.
Of course.
Carry on.
Thank you.
Did not mean to be rude.
No, not rude at all.
All right.
How do you come into Craig? Do you come in
We come through the life stream. What we do is we discharge the electronic energy from our own heart. Our own heart is diamond-like in manifestation.
Okay.
And we diffuse a life force from our heart. We bond it with the life stream. And within that field, that qualified field of energy that holds our essence, we then embed into that essence a communication vehicle that we may express through. Now, this would not be possible if Clark did not have the evolution in the infinite way, if he did not have the opening of the heart stream, if he did not have the sacred fire in the brain that cleaned up a lot of the substance that is around the electrons, the points of light, that allow the brain to be fired and to allow at the very center of the brain, at the core of the neural net, that frequency, that transmission to take place, if there wasn't previous work done, let us call a cosmic cleanup, if you like.
Okay.
If that wasn't done in the early 80s, then we would not be able to have this particular kind of communication.
Okay.
Understand, I wish to state that every human being must go through this.
Right.
Not necessarily the presentation of us, but must go through the purification of their human brain if they are ever to experience superconsciousness.
Interesting.
And if you have superconsciousness, then you do not have to believe anything. You do not have to believe us even.
Okay.
Know you why?
No.
Because you know everything. Isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful. It is wonderful. As soon as I find out everything, I'll know everything.
Indeed.
How do you see human beings through Craig's eyes? Do you see them the same way Craig would see in the third dimensional, or do you see something different?
Indeed. We see as you would see, and we also see what is held within the body. We see through the body. We see the platforms of light that surround the mental body, or what is truly called the platters of light that surround the human brain that is called
colored?
the mental body. Absolutely. And we see the electromagnetically charged fields that make up the feeling body. We see these spin outside of your physical bodies for anywhere from 9 feet to up to 300 feet in diameter, depending on who you are and how evolved you are.
So when we're standing together 3 feet apart, we're really mixing our energy quite a bit then.
That is right. And that's one of the problems down here.
Of course it is. Tell us a little bit about, there's a lot of controversy about the year 2012. I have many questions for you, actually. But let's start with that, that particular one. 2012 is the year that we supposedly are doomed. It's the end of the world. There is a...
Is it?
This is what they say.
They.
This is what society or the newspapers or...
I always say, watch out for they and them.
Yes, of course.
They are the bad guys.
The Bible?
Oh, there's no such thing.
Okay.
It is the bad guys. All right, I understand the nature of your question.
Yeah.
It is a good question. The first thing I wish to say, destiny, yes, there is destiny for each individual. There is destiny for your humankind and for your planet. But that destiny is not predestined. Understand?
We can change it.
That's absolutely right. Destiny is unfolding. There is a divine plan for all of humanity. But as to how quickly you shall come into that divine plan or be part of it is absolutely your choice. There are some that are saying it is the end of the world. In truth, it is the very beginning. This century is a witness to evolution in all forms. Yes?
Yes, it is actually. Yes.
You have your flying machines. In the next century, you will not have to use flying machines because you will have flying wings.
So there's no beam me up Scotty.
There is in another kind of evolution.
Okay.
Yes, there is that as well. But you are in the beginning of the new world now, the new millennium. What you have seen transpire from 1925 to 1995. 1995 to the year 2005 will be equal. Those 10 years shall be equal, if not greater, to the 70 years between 25 and 95 of this century, to start with. The end of the world? No, it is the beginning of the world. I understand you have those holy books in the Islamic faith, the Christian faith, that in regards to prophecy, there have always been individuals on your planet who have seen the potential future events.
I suppose it's difficult to understand the scope of what you're saying, because of all the different religions, how can it be one thing when everybody has a different perception of what it means?
Indeed.
How can we change something? In other words, it would have to be almost changing everybody's mind to one thing, that we can create anything we choose. But there's a lot of religions out there that don't believe that.
Absolutely.
how do people as a whole come together to change that?
It starts one by one, and that is how it did start. Indeed, at the turn of the century, it started as a few souls, a few beloved beings. And that process of gradation in which, as time passes, more and more humans are desiring to aspire to a greatness, whatever the way that looks, the one-by-one sequence is now, there are approximately 802,947,642 souls
on this planet,
who, in this second right now, who are the psyche of the social consciousness that has been steeped in fear, steeped in the belief in two powers, is lessening, and the truth of the life is beginning to grow. Now, there's many different ways in which that looks.
Of course.
Indeed.
Of course.
So this process of one by one, it is happening. There's a great light, and the
You
great
tell
light.
a friend, I'll tell a friend, blah, blah,
Yes,
blah.
it is happening. As long as there is perception, the error must be corrected in perception. And humanity has seen that war has not got them anything. And therefore, it is the laying down of the sword, and it is the lifting up of the flame that is in the heart. If each human being were to take care of their own life, if each human being would be the very best that they could be, if each human would aspire to the genius and not accept mediocrity, not get into human opinions, get rid of beliefs, and just chase after their dreams and choose to follow the path of love, the path of heart, then if you had 7 billion human beings doing all of this, then I would suggest that the rest would take care of itself.
I suppose it would.
Indeed.
I suppose it would.
And that is how it shall happen.
Next question. How old are you?
In cosmic terms,
In our years.
in your years. Then speaking in your years and the time-space continuum that you are involved in, I am 16,952,643 years old.
Well, that's a little overwhelming.
But that is the time-space continuum. That is if you are to stretch us out horizontally. We'd prefer you did not do that,
Okay.
for we love to live in the moment.
Okay.
Indeed. Well, humanity has been here 14 million years.
Yes,
and there's a reason why we're here, you know.
Yes, of course there is. Tell us a little bit about, I'd like to ask you about crop circles. We have been experiencing more and more crop circles these days, and there's obviously a reason for it. And after that question, I'll move right into another question for you. You mentioned ascended. You mentioned my twin flame is ascended. What does ascended mean?
All right. First of all, let's be very clear that we have total compassion for those that are in disbelief and honor any disbelief that may be there. But regardless of the disbelief, regardless of human opinion, does not change reality. And the reality is that your planet at this time is being hit with love. It is being hit with light, and there is intelligence that is coming in from the cosmos, and that intelligence are all working with your own planet's hierarchy of light beings to assist in firing humanity awake.
Okay.
That which is termed the crop circles is the simple outer manifestation of codes of the universe, symbolic codes, keys that hold the lost knowledge of humanity's history. That's one of the first things. One of the second things that some of the crop circles are doing is that they are holding an electronic chemistry, a frequency of communication that humanity are not able to hold themselves.
Okay. Interesting. I've just been told, son, that we have 5 minutes left.
That is it?
That is it.
For the whole party?
For the whole party.
Indeed.
So I'm feeling that I'd like to bring Craig back. I'd like to first of all thank you for all your information. for all your wonderful language of light, as you would put it. And I hope we get a chance to chat again sometime.
Oh, you will. You can bet you. Suffice it to say, then, we are here as part of the explosion of knowledge, beings of light returning to humanity. And we are here to assist humanity in retrieving the lost knowledge. And once you have all of that knowledge in your hands, you will gain all the freedom in life.
Thank you.
Aside from that, we are here to party on with you.
Perfect. I'm ready for a party.
Indeed. Namaste.
Namaste.
My heart embraces you completely.
Wow, that was really something.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to bring Akasha in, but maybe another time.
Another time. There was one question I'd like to ask you that I asked Asun, and you probably know the answer. He mentioned my twin flame is already ascended. Now, I know what ascended means, but there's probably a lot of people out there that are wondering what does ascend mean. So maybe you can just briefly touch on that before we...
Okay. All right, the ascension.
We have 3 minutes.
There are ascended masters and angels who are communicating the knowledge that Akasha and Asun have given us.
Okay.
And Akasha's energy, she's still happy here, so she's going to help with this, get this through quickly. The explosion of knowledge that's on the planet is going to help all of humanity to realize in the next century that the highest goal of human life is to immortalize a physical body. We are already immortal. We do not need to gain immortality. We do not need a priest to forgive us. We are already immortal. We are here to raise a physical body for ourselves and to take that body out into the world. The problem is our bodies keep dying on us.
So does that mean we're actually, to ascend is to break out of the birth-death cycle?
That's right. And an individual, there are humans who live in the greater realms of planet Earth, and they're called ascended human beings or ascended masters. And what they did is in their last life here, before they left this dimension, rather than going through the change called death, they took their body with them.
Okay, briefly, what happens to the body? Does it turn into a light body, or does it stay the same?
What happens is that the higher self comes in once the outer self on Earth has evolved enough, educated, purified itself. Then the higher self comes in, overlights, and brings a great fire purifying process through the human body that cleanses it, purifies it, helps the body to break the gravitational pull of the Earth, and the body actually ascends up a great column of light and becomes one with the higher self.
Okay.
Now the higher self has become physicalized.
Okay.
And the masters tell us this is really the beginning of life.
This is fantastic. Craig, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I'd like to actually leave you with telling our viewers about your work, Soul Journey, where they can get a hold of you, and your email address if you have any. I believe would be this camera here.
The Akasha and Asun has asked us to set up Soul Journey as a focus in which they could speak to others and bring in their great light and energy. Soul Journey is set up in 12 centers throughout British Columbia and as well in the Seattle area. You can contact the Soul Journey information line for the timing and scheduling of upcoming events. And also I will be appearing at the conference in Mount Shasta, May 8th, 9th, and 10th. That is the Wesak Festival Approximately 2,000 initiates from all over the world will be gathering there for a wonderful conference in which I will be one of the keynote speakers, bringing Akasha and Asun's message to the Wesak Festival.
You had a standing ovation at that last year, didn't you?
I think we have to give that credit to Akasha.
Akasha, yeah. Okay, Craig, we're out of time. Once again, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty, that was...
It is like, wow, so very